Thank you very much. I'm afraid polling and market research is very rarely exciting, but it does sometimes shed a little bit of light. I need to declare an interest first because although I'm, of course, an objective market researcher, in a way, YouGov has also been a startup in Singapore. When we decided to go out to Southeast Asia, which is an entirely new region for us. We're in 20 countries, but we hadn't been in Southeast Asia. Singapore was the place that we felt most comfortable landing, as it were, and getting the benefits of the way that small country works, that city-state works. And it is incredibly welcoming to startups and to entrepreneurs. And of course, it does have as its head the nearest thing, I'm perhaps overdoing it a bit, but the nearest thing you can get to the philosopher king in a prime minister who, I can't think this has ever happened before, is a genuine mathematician. I think he was a senior wrangler at Cambridge, which means the #1 mathematics student of the year, and went on to MIT and so forth. So you have here a country that is totally based in its vision on mathematics, on technology, and all of this stuff. So that is declaring my bias, but we want to understand how people see, how young companies see the situation, and we talked to 193 UK tech companies, of whom 3/4 are less than 5 years old, and the majority are still at seed, angel, and Series A stage. So it is genuinely a survey of startups, which is and very young companies, which is unusual. It's a difficult sample to get. Half of them we talk to by phone, half of them we talk to by internet. And I'm just going to race through this because it'll be more interesting to have the discussion afterwards. But we asked, what are the major challenges encountering you as a company right now? We talked to the CEOs of these companies, and I was excited and I suppose unsurprised to see that they are exactly the same challenges as I, as a much older and now 15-year-old company and public company would have. So #1 is still finding or growing customers. I don't think that ever stops. I think that's true of every single company that is trying to move forward. Overhead costs, again, the same problems as everybody else. Cash flow, product market fit. Raising investment being the only one that a mature company probably hasn't got. So it is very important, I think, to remember that actually startups face many of the same problems, and if there is a solution and a country does that well, then it's going to fit not only startups, but in fact scale-ups and all the other parts of the infrastructure. We then asked, beyond funding, what are the most important elements if you're thinking about your growth. And here, again, the product market fit is the #1, logical, but the second, access to reliable or good public infrastructure and this pervasive connectivity idea that certainly we've heard from Singapore is very important, comes actually #2 in that list. We asked them, are you planning to expand? Have you already expanded? Will you expand in the near future your company? 48% say no, actually. No intention of going abroad, no intention of relocating or expanding overseas. Not surprising, in startup mode, you're focusing on getting your bearings and getting your feet firmly on the ground first. But amongst the rest, yes, so there's I think 17% altogether that are thinking of relocating some or all of their business, and a further 19% saying that they are thinking about in the future. So if you are relocating, what would be the thing that matters most to you? Ease of doing business. It's hard enough to grow a company. It's hard enough to appeal to customers and to make the technology work and all the things that you have to do. If you're in an environment that actually makes it harder for you with regulations and with infrastructure problems, that, of course, is a massive additional and unnecessary problem, but ease of doing business then is the number one, and public infrastructure is the second biggest, with regulation and policies to support innovation after that. We do now see actually joining in the top five, who didn't appear before, getting skilled workforce and talent. Finally, we asked about, this is actually part of a much bigger project, I should say, but finally amongst the slides, we looked at the attractiveness of the Smart Nation vision, and we summarized different aspects and different messages about Singapore. And the first one, which is really about the environment, the total environment for innovation, all the ingredients needed for innovation to happen. That message, 59% found that attractive. The Singaporean help for startups as a gateway to Southeast Asia was the second most attractive. I should say that second one is a very strong reason for YouGov as well to be in Singapore, because the rest of Southeast Asia looks to Singapore for innovation. They look for a country in the region that has solved or is solving many of the problems that they face, and that is at the pioneering edge. And so by succeeding in Singapore, it's a very good showcase for the rest of Southeast Asia. The third is the infrastructure and connectivity. So the key messages of the Smart Nation are certainly hitting home with those that are thinking of relocating. So that's it for this research, and I look forward to discussing this and other matters in the panel. Thank you.